Hit it, Jumba.
Here we go.
Where are we at? Where are we today, boys?
Where are we today? Where are we gonna last? Oh, TJ, don't tilt your head. They can see it, cause your bill is green.
Oh. Ah.
Hey, where are we today? Last
We're
time.
in Tokyo.
Last time we were on the moon.
We're on the moon today.
We're on the
We're in
moon.
Tokyo. We're taking a walk, baby.
We're just
taking
strolling
a walk.
through
Yeah, we're
Tokyo.
Take a walk.
Take a walk with us in Tokyo. Look at all the people here, Kevin.
Wow, look at that.
Look at my people.
They're like, what?
You're not your
I'm just
people,
kidding.
Kevin. You're
I'm
fucking
Vietnamese.
dude.
What? We walking in Tokyo right now? What? Stream updates? Wow, huge.
How do you know it's recording?
How
What?
do I know? Because it's recording.
How do you know?
Because I know it's recording.
Where does it say that?
It does. Kevin, stop look at the camera.
Today we have a
doesn't
special guest on the podcast.
Kev Jumba.
Jumba,
Kevin
Kev Jumba.
Make sure you
formerly
walk.
known as-
You need to stop saying Kev Jumba because it's actually a person.
Kev Jumba's here today, baby. We'll link his stuff down below. If you do not know who this Jumba is, all of his information
You have to
will be in the description down below.
You have
So
to sit back
if you don't know, get knowing.
and talk at the mic, Kevin.
So
Remember,
we,
you need mic etiquette.
We have Kevin
Alright,
here
got
today
it.
because Kevin is pretty, I would say, well established photographer. Does crazy edits, good stuff, and
What?
just really good guy in the media space. That was
Don't lick me,
terribly
Kevin.
worded. So today we wanted to kind of discuss what it is and how to develop your brand, your personal, what was the word I'm looking for? Personal presence in the social media world of media and cars, in that type of sense.
And whatever you're doing.
Yeah. One of the
Taking
questions
pictures
I
of flowers
think
and
we
stuff.
get most is,
Yeah.
how do I get started? How do I do this? What do I need? I have X amount of money. What should I buy first? Blah, blah, blah. What works? What doesn't work? And what better person to have on the podcast than our very own Jumba? So
Our very own.
that's what we're
Kevin.
going to get into today. We're sharing a mic on this side, so if it seems kind of low,
I don't think
point
it's that
fingers
low.
at Calvin because
Hey, what
it's
the?
not my fault.
What the
I
fuck,
think it's good.
dude?
I think it's good. Okay, so how do you want to start it? Like,
Oh, man. Look at that person behind you.
Oh,
That's so cool. Sorry, I'm going to be like looking at our monitor the whole entire time. Just like
stop!
watching.
Stop looking at the Japanese people.
Damn. We're just taking a stroll.
Taking
a
a
little
stroll through
midnight
Tokyo.
walk.
All right, Kevin, stop! Look, camera. Don't make me
TJ's
minimize.
distracting me.
Don't make me
Look
minimize
at,
that.
he's making me want to. All right,
We're not even talking.
Okay,
We
all right,
forgot
fine.
what we're talking about already.
I did. Okay, so I don't know.
Where did you start, Kevin? Let's get a background check here.
No, it's more like
where did you start?
How did you start?
How did you start?
I mean, back in high school, like we had this photo class. We didn't have a lot of electives because our school was very new. So I took this photo class, and it was like pretty interesting. And I got into cars, and that's actually how I met TJ. Was in high school. He had his little.
Wait, who did you know first? Me or? Did we know? Did you go to? Where did you go for middle school, Kevin?
I can't say that. I'm not telling you.
Did we go to the same one?
No.
We did.
Kevin
No.
likes to.
Wait, he
Here we
can't
go.
tell us. What does that mean?
Kevin says he's from like Temecula or some crap
I
like
lived
that,
there for a year. Why
but
is that?
he never did. This
Yes,
is like
I
an
did.
off-camera joke that he's been fucking with me for a while now. Kevin, he went to
He's
Oak
not
Valley down
playing.
the street.
He thinks I'm playing, but I actually lived in Temecula for a year.
No, I believe you, Kevin.
Yeah,
It's
Calvin
just-
and I lived in
Don't
Temecula
buy
for
that
a
for
year.
No,
a
but
second.
like, I went to Oak Valley, right?
Yeah, so did I. Oh wait, you didn't go.
Ah, see,
Yes,
I
I
told
did.
you.
When?
I
Oh,
went-
you did.
yeah,
you did,
yeah,
you did,
yeah,
you
we
did,
knew
you
each
did.
other.
Oh, yeah.
Did we know each other?
Yeah.
Did we know each other? I don't remember you.
Yeah. I don't think we really like talked until like high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good call.
Anyways, so I was taking like photo class, and like at first it was kind of just like an elective that I took, but after a while it kind of like really piqued my interest. And for the longest time, I kept asking my parents for if they could help me out with my first camera, which was like a really low end like DSLR.
Nah, Kevin. Your parents were like, nah.
Yeah,
Kevin.
they were literally like, nah, like why would you want a big ass camera carry around? Like you can just use your phone. Like why do you even like
Are you
want to spend that
serious?
much money? Yeah, I'm serious. And like after a while, I was kind of like, fuck it, like I'm saving enough money to buy my own camera. And that's exactly what I did. Was like I bought my own camera, and it was just some like super cheap like Nikon like D50-200, and I stuck with that for like a couple years really. And everyone's like, oh, what kind of gear do you use? Like, is it all about the gear? And I was like, maybe, like, it's not always about how much money you spend. It's like how dedicated you are in building yourself, you know?
Explain on that. What do you mean?
Meaning like like a lot of people like kind of think that it's like how much money do you spend on your camera so that you can take like really good photos or video or something like that.
They think that
Like-
their quality in photos correlated with how expensive their camera is.
Yeah, it's like to an extent, yes, because like if you need that extra quality, then you're gonna need to spend that money. But creatively, it's like on yourself and how you go about marketing yourself and how you push your stuff out to like your social media platform. And so I first like started off. I ended up making like a fuck ton of Instagram pages. I had like 3. I still have 3. I'm sorry, but I mean
Yeah,
like
you do, okay.
in the beginning, like I was like,
I always credit the wrong one.
Same here. Literally, one of my
Kevin gets
last
mad at me
text from
every
Kevin
time.
is, dude, you credited the wrong IG in your video. I'm like, fuck, sorry, let me change it. And I
No,
changed it.
dude, I always credit X trends.
well, like
Same
XK
here.
Trend X is like when I post my life, like I do things, and like
Nope.
I have a
Ke-
car one, and I have like a little,
Every time Kevin texts me that, like Calvin,
Kevin doesn't care.
Wrong one. I'm like,
doesn't
oh,
care.
I'll get it
You know,
next time.
but
And I
like-
don't.
Fuck you. But it's like it was just it started off as something that's like I like doing, and I just like posted photos like as much as I could like once a day or something, you know, and like I kept building myself and it gained traction, but it was mainly because I was doing it as like a hobby for myself, and it was just something that I was able to like be creative at, and like I guess people liked what I was doing, you know. It wasn't like I was paying people to like post my shit, or I wasn't like, you know, like going out of my way to do a lot of things. Like I was doing it because it was fun. And I think that's how you started off on YouTube too. Like you were doing shit because it was fun.
Yeah.
Wait, I wanna go back to you saying like the equipment doesn't really matter per se. So you know who really portrays that well is Freddie Wong on the Rocket Jump channel. They did a thing where they recorded their whole short on a phone, and it was all in their editing.
Let me
that they
guess, Samsung? That paid advertisement?
Yeah, it was I'm sure it was a paid
Yeah,
advertisement,
100% was.
But like they did it on a phone, and it doesn't matter. Like, it's all in how you present it. You don't need like the super 4K quality that some cameras can output. You just need to rearrange it in a way and edit in a way that it looks about the same as everyone else. Like you get the more expensive camera to get those things, the features that you don't have with your phone. Like I can't name the features, but there are some people that require a certain aspect to be done, and the phone just doesn't cut it, or the certain camera doesn't have it, right? Like, for instance, the people who buy 4K cameras is because they need the extra resolution to squish it. They don't film the whole frame of their people, in like they don't film the whole thing. They film on like a percentage of it so they could move it around and track the person, right? But for those who are getting started, you could just like do anything. If you look at TJ's first video, is filmed on a toaster.
Film with my iPhone.
Did we film it on that phone?
Well, the first one was in my garage. It was on my iPhone. And then the next one was like my dad's like crappy T3i Rebel, which was a terrible camera.
What was your first video about, actually?
I mean, if you want to call it a video, it was just me and my parents at my parents' house just revving my car at like 9:30 at night. I look back at it. I'm like redlining. I'm like, what the fuck was I?
it, dude?
Yeah, and I was like, what the fuck was I thinking? Now, looking
Automatic
back
car,
on it, I'm-
dude.
yeah, and I'm like, what the fuck? But yeah, and then the first one was like a vlog in the car. Me just driving, and it's just a T3i like taped upside down to like my windshield so that it would stay, and I can get like that shot with
And
like
then you flip it.
and then you flip it in post, and then yeah,
Good, dude.
So yeah, I mean, you can make it work. My audio, like I got like a microphone, and like bought an extension, like plugged it in my microphone, and like wrapped it around the other side of the car, and like taped it to like my dash so that it was like kind of close to my face. Totally bunk. But I mean, I made it work. Didn't need any of the extra stuff. Yeah, stop looking at the monitor, Kevin.
Thinking.
That's
Fuck
mean.
you guys.
Shut the fuck up, Kevin.
I'm thinking, dude.
Sorry, G. Go ahead.
No, but I mean that's pretty much how I had it set up. It's nothing crazy. Just borrowed and used what I had within my arm's reach that didn't cost me money.
Yeah, so like going back to our point, you used what you had. Like you didn't go out of your way to spend a lot of money to get started, kind of thing.
Yeah, but I also think there's a point of where like people are always like, oh, the camera doesn't matter. The camera doesn't matter. I mean, like yes, but like no.
Like it doesn't matter if you're trying to get started, but it matters if you're trying to take that extra step for the quality.
I guess. I mean, there's a point over like if I was watching some creator that filmed with like a VHS camera now, I obviously wouldn't. It'd be an eyesore watching that compared to like someone who had invested in like a $200-$300 like Canon PowerShot. Like
Yeah.
So yes, I mean if you want your shit to look like okay or like at least in the range of like decent with like what times are now, it's gonna cost you money. Like it's gonna cost you 200. You could get by with $200-$300, possibly cheaper than that. Go on Craigslist, go on eBay, find a used like mini camera or fuck. You know what? Actually, like the format's kind of bad now, but you could probably get away with it still. Is the flip cameras? Do you remember that flip? They were like, I loved them in middle school. I know someone out here will know what I'm talking about. They're like little like
Squares,
rectangles,
yeah.
little rectangles, and the USB is like in the camera, and like you would like it was called like a flip or something, and like it was all in the camera.
I think I know what he's talking.
You could like edit on it. You could like trim clips. Someone out there knows what I'm talking about. Like you need to spend money to like get yourself somewhere. If you have like an iPhone 4 or like an iPhone 3GS or some shit like that, you're not gonna want to film on that.
I agree.
There's definitely a threshold of like what to get by, but there's a big difference from spending $150, $200 on a used camera versus buying an A7S with a lens for $3,000. That's not necessary. That some people think like, oh, well, if I don't have that $3,000 camera, my vlogs will never be as good as such and such, which is the fallacy that is YouTube.
No, what makes you good on YouTube or whatever platform you're getting on is your content. Like if you're not enjoyable as a person, then you're not going to be enjoyable on video, right? So if you feel like this is what I noticed after a while, but I didn't think of it before when we first started making these like memes, right? Is we're all always having a good time. Like nights spent at Trevor's or like nights spent just going to like get food, and how obnoxious we are.
Yeah. And
how good of a time we're having. May as well like show that to people, because if we're having a good time, I'm sure someone will find it a good time to watch,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's bring focus back to where we started. And I'll kind of pass this off to Kevin here. Leveraging yourself, learning to brand yourself as, at the end of the day, like your photography page is a brand. It's a brand of you.
Yeah.
So what are some ways that, and I'm speaking from YouTube to Twitter to IG to X, Y, and Z, that you have found are successful ways to expand your following, grow your following, X, Y, and Z in said platform?
Okay, we'll go over some like key points, but I think one of them being is kind of consistent with what you're sharing. And if you go to my car page, like you see all cars. And I found like a style of edit that I like, so I edit every single photo with that same kind of edit. So they have like this continuity to it, and I also try to like have like so like you can also focus on one photo, but if you go to like my grid, like my most recent grid it's like TJ's car is like really purple, and then other of my friends' cars are kind of like just like black or gray, and so I spaced them out so that if you look at the entire page, like a grid of 9, there's like a pattern with TJ's car because it's purple, like it sticks out, like just like little things like that too. But I think mainly one is like finding a focus on what you want to share. Because like if I had a page and I had cars, and then I had like food, and then I had like my dog and stuff like that, and if you're trying to be a car page, it's kind of like hard to get that out there if you're posting a bunch of other things, that you're confusing people. And people follow my stuff because like I post cars all the time, and I try to post often. So like if you take like months between your posts, like you're not going to gain a lot of following. And if you start posting like every day, like people will be like, oh, he's posting a lot, like I like his stuff. they're gonna come follow, and they're gonna come share, they're gonna come like, stuff like that.
So I'm going to jump in there and add to that. An example that you see on YouTube a lot, which defines exactly what you just described, is sometimes you come across those channels that have like 1 million subs, 2 million subs, right? And let's say they're like a daily vlogger type deal, or they like do videos almost every single day. You see someone with a subscriber base in the millions, but yet their videos will do like 65,000 views a day, 80,000, and it's like, every day it's like the lower view count. Whereas, if you look at, my channel and it's at 800K, we're doing 250,000 minimum within 24 hours. And you're like, well, this person has less, but they're getting more every day. So what you were talking about, consistency with your content, I often find that those channels that have like an absurd amount of subscribers but have lower viewer rates on all their videos is because, let's say they made one crazy video or two crazy videos of like some Bugatti when it first came out backfiring, and they like got, one of the 5 photographers there or whatever, and they got that content. That one video they had went viral and then got exposed to hundreds of thousands of people, and they're like, yo, this person's gonna be giving out like cool Bugatti like hypercar content.
Yeah,
sweet, I'm gonna sub. Then they sub, and then they find that they actually post like videos of them like tinkering on a fucking 86 or some shit, and the content is very distant. So they come for one thing seeing this, but then they actually find out, it's this, and they kind of lose that viewer base every day. And kind of what you were saying, if they see you post like 5 dope car edits, but like that's like not really, you want to grow in that space, but you're not fully focused on that. If your consistency is all over the place, they're going to start seeing you post about your dog or your pets, and then they're going to be like,
what was that?
No, Calvin, not your cock.
No.
And they're going to see you post about different things, and then they're going to get
exactly
not as interested, or you know what I mean? That
like when you look at the biggest channels on YouTube, since we're talking about YouTube, like PewDiePie, it's like everything is games.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything about him is
and
like
not
games.
to say that as a content creator you can't spread your wings a little bit, but just know the more you play that card, the bigger effect it takes.
Like you kind of like,
which isn't always a bad thing.
I want to give like a hypothesis, a reason maybe for that split in views. Okay. So let's take Adam LZ as like a just an off example that I think of, right? Not specifically targeting him, right? So he has how many? 1.8 million subscribers, yet he gets a 250,000 views, or 400K views, right?
Which is killer.
Which is great, right? But to relative numbers, I want to say the hypothesis is, at the moment he does a lot of car stuff, right? He does a lot of drifting, a lot of car stuff. But when in the beginning, right, he did a lot of BMX and extreme sports. What did you call that, an extreme sport? Yeah. So he did that kind of stuff. So I want to say that his viewership is there, but it's divided.
100%.
So half the million, we're just throwing out numbers arbitrarily, 500,000 is into cars and 500,000 is into BMX. So when he does BMX and he's getting 400K views, that's the BMX side. Like, I'm not saying that, or at least we're not saying that it's not a good thing to separate them, but to see relative numbers, if numbers are important, right? Like, to see relative numbers, it's what people want to watch. So like a variety channel will attract all of these people, but there's only so much overlap, right? So let's say I did on Calvin and Emily, we did like makeup stuff for Emily, and then I did like gaming stuff for me. Well, the makeup stuff will get its own following on the channel, and the gaming stuff will get its own following, and they won't necessarily look at each other's videos, but you'll see the numbers reflect that. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, that's completely correct. I mean, like, overall, I think consistency is key, and finding a focus for what you want to like put yourself into is key, and like kind of like finding, how do I say this? It's like what you kind of like market your persona, or like what you do as on like a certain subject, and like building yourself on that, and like so everyone that you're following is following you for that kind of reason.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think it's a very important thing to note and to understand. I think understanding that helps you understand the game a little bit more. The game. Yeah, 100%. It's a very interesting concept to explore and discover once you kind of figure that out. So, Kev, let me ask you, what would you give advice to someone who struggles to find the Let's say Jimmy in Kansas City wants to do what you do, but doesn't know anybody with cars. Like, let's say there's a car scene, and it's not the biggest thing in the world.
Chime in on that.
I farted and smell, so just smell it. Just
Come
be aware.
on, dude.
Come on,
This
man.
green screen is blocking us, man.
How does Jimmy find content to shoot? He has a Civic, and he doesn't think it's cool enough to post photos of. How does he find his content? How did you find your content? What would you tell him?
How did I find my content? I mean, like, I feel like I didn't know people with like the craziest cars. Like, I didn't fucking wide body.
What does it say? What's the time under record? Do you see 21?
I don't know where we're looking, but yeah,
Bottom right corner.
21.
Oh yeah, 21.
Okay, just making sure.
21 Savage.
21.
21 Savage.
What's 9 Anyways, what were we talking about? Oh, okay. Yeah, so I mean, like, I had like a Lexus, T had a BMW, and we're kind of just. I hit up my friend, like, who had a car, who had an interest in cars. We obviously at the time didn't have like the craziest of cars, and I think it was more like practicing how to shoot, kind of thing, and.
Calvin wants you to speak in the mic.
Okay.
Just look.
It's my first time. Like,
no, yeah, no, it's fine.
I
I'm letting you know. Just look that way when you're speaking.
It's like, it's hard to explain.
You want me to go first?
Yeah. Let me think about
Cal,
this.
Go for it.
Okay, so you always mix our names up, you fucking asshole.
Sorry.
So
It's the Asian
I
thing.
want to see it. Without getting into a topic that can be its very own podcast. It's social media equals social networking. Whether you do that virtually or in person, right? So it doesn't. If you can't find your content, you have to go find it. Like, the reason why you're gonna do this is because you're passionate about it and you're looking for it. You need to go find it. So you have to scour the internet, Facebook pages about car meets, make friends. If you're antisocial, you're fucked because it doesn't. You can't. Like, we are lucky here because we have friends, like a lot of friends already that like cars, so we helped each other.
But it wasn't always that way, though.
I'm about to get to that. It wasn't always that way. So on top of the friends we have, that was good to start with. But then social networking, again, don't want to get too deep into that, but social networking, you need to know someone that knows someone else, right? So you just need to make friends with people that share your same mental thought process and your philosophy, and ride along with them, right? Like, so encourage each other to go do your thing, like go to car meets, meet friends, talk to people, because more often than not, the people that are there like the same fucking thing as you. I don't know why they wouldn't, because they're there with you at such and such event, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're trying to get started and you're telling yourself, I don't have the content, my car's not cool enough, first of all, fuck that. No, your shit's cool enough. He who says that is usually right? So if your car's not cool, then I fucked that up. It doesn't matter.
You fucked that up big.
But
you're there. You're there.
I'm there. So
he who says you can, and he who says you can't are usually both right. If you think your car's dumb, your car's dumb. If you think your car's cool, your car's cool.
Yeah. So
nice.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like, you set yourself up. If you think your car's shit, then your car's probably shit. But the internet, most hated car on the internet a couple years ago, right? So they hated my car and thought it was shit, but I didn't, right? We kept using my car for videos and content, right? Because I thought it was fucking cool. If I thought it was pretty shitty, then you would have never seen my car, right? So, and that's the first point. Second point, even if you do think your car's shit, but make friends that have cool cars, right? Like, don't necessarily use them, quote unquote, but like, If you think your shit's shitty, then find someone that doesn't have shitty shit, right? Just enjoy what you're doing. If you're going into this like being stupid, like, oh, I just want to be famous, then you're gonna cuck yourself.
Yeah, I think that's a very important topic on its own.
Yeah.
Is like, what is your end game? You know?
Yeah.
Like I feel like we did it because it was just like fun. It was something that we like doing, you know?
Yeah.
Like the whole like, you know, getting big and that stuff like wasn't
It
really
follows.
Yeah, it follows. It wasn't something that
Was a goal.
a goal that we set out to do. It was kind of like we enjoyed just doing it and sharing it.
Well, I think,
And then you make it a goal.
sure.
Yeah,
But I think that, okay, well, I want to add 2 points. When you're talking about, oh, go to, car mates, blah, 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 how to do this and that, people that live in Midwest, or there's not really a car scene there. It's not as easy to go find just a car mate. I know that's what a lot of you are probably saying, like screaming through the screen is like, well, I don't have car mates, I don't have this, I don't have that. It's about using tools, using social media to find that. You can literally go on Twitter, you can go on Instagram, you can go on Facebook, search for car groups in your area. You can go on Twitter and look for like keywords, key mentions, and you can like literally search like, I don't know why I'm using Kansas City, but like Kansas City like car club, Kansas City car scene, cars and coffee, and you can like
or Mojave Desert.
Yeah, and you can like see like keywords and like pick up on like, oh, there's like a hidden car meet here, or like blah blah blah, and go to those events, talk to people, talk to everybody. That's the biggest thing. I mean, a lot of the things that have happened with us, whether it's like sponsors or like friends or gigs, whatever it was like it wasn't who we knew, it's who we knew that knew someone. Over 50% of things that we have landed or have gotten the opportunity because of, it's because of a friend that we made knows somebody. And they've like bridged it. So jumping from that to where we were just going, what were you talking about before I jumped in? What was the last thing you said? I had something like pretty strict that I wanted to jump in on that.
It was like, if you have a shitty car, go find someone.
No. It was what Calvin was saying. Fuck, I hate when that happens. He totally forgot what he was saying because he was
rambling. Not about the fame.
Yeah.
You're saying like, well, what's your
Wait,
goal?
before you go into that, I want to say, if you aren't willing to drive like 30 minutes to go to make friends or be a part of the scene.
Yeah, if it's not close to you, dude, for our cars and coffee, it was over 30 minutes.
It was over 30 minutes. But like, if you're not willing to drive 30 minutes, then don't even get into it. Like, 30 minutes is nothing. But if it's like an hour and a half away, I get it. But like 30 minutes is 40 minutes. Nothing if you love it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The end goal thing, like, I don't think a lot of people like have what their goal would be, or even like have an idea of where it should be, because they don't know what they're capable of. And I could say that when everything started here, there wasn't like, oh, I wanted to reach like said goal. There was like a direction that we wanted to like head, and it kind of forms itself. And
milestones.
You kind of just end up realizing what is possible and try to strive towards it. So I don't know if there's, I mean, I'm speaking from personal experience, whether there ever was like a said goal. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if, that wasn't like I started and I was like, in 2.5 years, I want to drop out of college and pursue this, and this, and, be our own boss and create a platform where everyone will eventually be able to sustain themselves and do blah, blah, blah. Like, fuck no. Like, how do you even come up with that?
Yeah.
It's kind of like, you do it for this long, like, you find this open path. Do you take it? Do you not? You take it, and you find another path, and, like, you want to go from here to here, but you end up going, like, from here to way down here, and then, like, eventually, like, you'll end up in this area that everyone creates by themselves.
Yeah, so I agree. I totally agree with that. Like, if you already have a goal of like wanting to be famous, that's good to have, right? That's good to have. That's good to strive for. But at the same time, expect nothing. Literally expect nothing. Let everything surprise you, right? To an extent. Right? Like, if you grow 100K subs overnight, wasn't a part of the plan. It was a part of the plan, but you weren't expecting it. Because if you're sitting in your room expecting 100,000 subs, your content's gonna reflect that. You're gonna go out every day and just be expecting. That cloud of I'm expecting to be famous will loom over you, and if you don't reach that, you're fucked. Like, your mood will go down. Literally, you'll plummet down, and your content will reflect that, right? Like, so that's why. Huge encouragement to those who keep doing what they love, right? Like, if you love driving 40 minutes to a car meet and filming it, then fucking do that because you love it. But if your goal is just to be famous because this looks like an easy way to do it, well, your content's going to reflect that. You're going to be sad as fuck when you're not there. And people will see right through that, unless you're really good at acting and like are not depressed, then I don't know, dude. Good luck with trying to do this because you think it's like not like. I stream because I like to play games, and I yell at my monitor already without the stream. So turn that stream on, right? Like I do it because I like it. I don't necessarily do it for the people. I do it for me. But if people enjoy it, that's humbling, right?
Yeah, and then, dude, we did Cars and Coffee every Saturday for like a solid year.
Yeah, we did.
Dude,
Like there was like
we were
every Saturday,
super
like
excited for Cars
yeah,
and
there was
Coffee.
like a group of 5 of us, 6 of us that were like,
Always call each other in the morning.
yeah, it was like meet every
7.
morning at like no, we meet at like
it's not-
6:30.
You don't even call. Like it's just known.
You
like,
just meet at the
6:30,
spot, meet at
like,
OG's,
you know.
meet at TJ's house, meet at
Yeah.
Calvin's,
Yeah,
Yeah,
if you-
and then we drive north.
and then we drive all the way up to 5, just mob together and
'Cause we
hang out
love
with a bunch
This
of
is
old
good
people.
times, dude.
yeah, good
This is
times.
good times.
We were enjoying it. Like, if you again to drive that point home, enjoy it because if you don't, it'll reflect. Like to make the bluntest analogy, you're gonna or like a really straightforward analogy is like, let's say you're trying to take a picture of something, right? Simply just to post on Instagram. Well, if you're not happy, it'll look like you're drooping. If that makes sense. Like like it doesn't look like there's effort behind the camera if you don't enjoy it, right? You're holding your camera down as if you were sad. Like, don't be like that. Enjoy every shot you take.
Yeah.
Enjoy every stroke that you make. Like when you're.
Is that a song?
I think so.
No, I don't. No.
Why does that sound?
Every step you take
every
is a-
step you
is a
take.
song.
Every
It's
step
Wait, is
you
that
take.
is that
probably
High
called-
School Musical?
No. It's a.
I'm
It's
sorry.
No, not that's not even the same
Stop.
song.
Stop.
There's not a
So-
Yeah, that is a High School Music song. But that's,
But-
we're sorry.
do we mute his mic?
No, I can't.
Oh,
Dude, I'm
fuck.
sorry.
Fly,
If I had the button here, but I don't have.
I don't
the
know.
button.
It sounds like a song.
So again, like your mood, everything, your mood reflects yourself, right? Like
With every stroke you take, you're sorry.
just
See?
enjoy it, dude. Just fuck you,
Song.
TJ. I'm gonna end this fucking podcast right here. I have the
Yeah.
button right here.
Hey, hold on. Wait. Okay, so TJ, let's bring it back to like building your brand kind of thing. Like, if you didn't have a social media standpoint, like say someone wanted to build a clothing brand, like what do you think you would have done?
Well, I mean, like, the first thing, I mean, you know, everyone always asks before anybody starts anything, whether it's like building a personal brand, a clothing brand,
Business.
whatever,
Yeah.
you know, their usual before they ever do it is like, well, how do I do it? How do I do this? How do I do that? And, you know, that's what usually I think stops people. So, I mean, the first thing I think in doing that is to start something. And I think it's the dumbest, simplest answer, but I'll find that 85% of everyone who's like, well, you know, like I really want to go down this route. Like I really want to do this. I want to do this. I want to do this, but I don't know how. Like, what do I do? And it's like, well, do something right now that you're not already doing that can put effort towards it. Whether it's like doing some further research on how to start that, or like look at the top people, whatever you're doing, and fucking study their background. Before I started YouTube, I could tell you anything about any channel in the car space. I could tell you what their content was when they first started, to what it is now, how they altered it, like what did they focus on. Like I was an encyclopedia of everything about that. And before I started, I was like, this is what works, this is what doesn't, this is how this person did it. And I like just took in a bunch of information and studied it and just like tried to find
Could never get away from studying, dude.
yeah, seriously. Try to find the own like
Research.
formula to make it work. So the first step is, I mean, you want to make a YouTube channel? Well, guess what? I guarantee you don't even have a video out yet. So fucking make a video. And then it's like, well, what do I make a video about? Look at my first video. It's me driving in my car saying, this is what I want to do. And it was shit. But like,
Redlining that shit.
Perfect example.
Yeah, it
I
was
have a
something.
perfect example. So Danny Courtney really wanted to start a YouTube channel, and TJ was his driving force. He was like, Danny, just fucking put stupid ass shit on the channel every day for a month. And
Yeah.
right. He did it.
I remember that. I told him
So-
about it every day.
Danny went to TJ and was like, hey, how do I do this? And TJ was like, well, fucking just upload shit. You don't have anything. And he started doing like stupid ass lifting videos. Not as in not the content is stupid, but what Danny was doing.
Oh.
This
was
Danny
like-
shit.
Yeah, some
just Danny
Danny
shit.
stupid shit, right? Like he's making weird noises and shit. just Danny,
Just
right?
Danny shit. Yeah.
So, you can't have anything if you don't have anything.
Yeah. And then as you go along, you figure out little nicks and knacks, and I mean the same thing with the clothing brand. How can you apply that to something else? Look up how fucking Quicksilver started. Look up how just look up how shit started. And you can literally Google you can Google this shit now. And it lays it out for you, like
that's what I
on
was gonna say.
WikiHow. Like it's such basic shit, but it's the fear of like, well, what if it doesn't work? Or what if I don't know if I want to do
I
this?
think people are afraid of that risk of just jumping in.
Which is the dumbest thing. I think being scared of risk is the killer of all dreams. For fuck's sake, I hate that.
Don't trigger TJ.
Like,
Don't trigger.
I mean, like,
no, we're not gonna get into that here.
What do you mean? What?
No, we're not gonna get into that.
good.
That's a good topic for another.
What?
thing.
What?
Scared of taking risks.
Yeah.
That's
Risks?
another. Yeah.
That's another.
Well, I mean,
topic.
like, the reason why people ask, like, you and me and, like, us, like, how did you do it is because you just fucking fart.
I can't
Stop.
stop. All right,
Dude.
sorry.
That's
Dude,
mesh.
that's, like, yeah.
That's mesh. It goes right through the.
Burning a hole in my panties, dude. Let's hear it, Kev.
It's like they see us and they want to be in the exact position, so they want to do every single step that we've taken. But as you said earlier, it's like an unpredictable journey, like something you can't predict or expect or anything. Like you kind of just got to do it, you know?
Sure.
Absolutely.
And I think in summary, what you got to tell Jimmy from Kansas City is like, go out there and fucking do it, which is like the simplest answer that I always tell people like when they message me. But
It seems
it's
like the hardest
literally-
thing at the time, but it's really the easiest thing. Like,
I like that. That's a good-
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're in your head, making it
Cooking
look all
yourself.
fucking
You're
freaky.
cooking yourself.
Yeah.
Hashtag cook yourself.
So, I think we've rambled on, and now I think we've gone for almost 40 minutes here. So, I think don't end it quite yet. Thank you, Jumbo, for being on our podcast, guys. Remember, I want to see you guys be active in the comments down below. Give us something you want to see us talk about. The most thumbs up thing we will 100% discuss on the podcast.
98%.
Leave us your thoughts.
Stop saying 100%. 98%.
Leave us your reviews. We'd love to hear it. We're trying to grow this channel again and get back on the horse. So, Jumbo, thank you for joining us. We will see you guys in the next podcast.